The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh. I'm the Director of Support for BNI Connect, and today's webinar is on the online slips program, and some places called the member module. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to pass the slips online in BNI Connect, very similar to the way that we pass the paper slips in the meeting, as well as all of the benefits of doing so. Today's webinar is a live webinar. It is scheduled for half of an hour of content, so 30 minutes of content, and then I am happy to answer any questions that you might have, and I will stay on the line with you as long as you have questions. So please do ask questions as we're going along or towards the end of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, that is our YouTube channel, and you will see all sorts of recorded webinars and content that has been recorded over the last year or so, including previous versions of this particular webinar. You can also find these webinars recorded and available as well as a number of other training material on our support site. So if you go to support.bniconnect.com, or if you just click this little question mark here within BNI Connect, this will take you to our support site. And here you'll see the upcoming list of webinars, including today's webinar and tomorrow's webinar. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a training section that has our recorded webinars nice and orderly for you, as well as help on a ton of other material, including the online slips and landing page. So why don't we get started? Again, today we're going to be talking about the online slips. So one thing to talk about is that we're not in any way changing the meeting. All we're doing is we're making it easier to pass in those paper slips, and also to make sure that we make the vice president's job easier, because it also updates the POMS reports for them. If anybody's ever been a vice president, they know that it does take quite some time to go through and tally up all those pieces of paper at the end of the week. This helps to ease that burden a little bit by automatically tabulating all of the online slips automatically. This is the new home screen as of October 29th last year, when the online slips was introduced, and you'll see it's broken into a couple of new sections. We have the My BNI Business page, and what's up here at the top is your statistics. So the referrals, the thank you for closed business, the visitors, one-to-ones, and CEUs. Basically, this is your personal POMS report for the last 12 months of your membership, as well as the lifetime of your membership. And this will show all the numbers as they are approved and reflected in the POMS. So one thing to keep in mind is that as you're entering the slips online, you will not notice these numbers change. These numbers will stay the same until after your next week's meeting and your vice president has verified all of the activity and officially submitted them into the POMS report. Now at the bottom here is all the things that we can now do with My BNI Business. We can enter the slips, the thank you for closed business, the referrals, the one-to-ones, and the CEUs. There's also a new function called the Referral Tracking sheet, where we can track the progress of referrals that we've received. And we also have the My Reports, so the My thank you for closed business, referrals, one-to-ones, and CEUs. There's also a Referral Tracking report, as well as a personal meeting activity sheet. We'll go over what all of these different things do. So, as I said, traditionally, we've always submitted a paper slip at the meeting. Well, now one thing that we can do is we can enter those slips ahead of time before the meeting. So as the activity happens, you can log into BNI Connect and submit the slips right there. The first slip on the list is the thank you for closed business slip. Now, entering a thank you for closed business slip, we're just going to click on the enter thank you for closed business. And what you will see pop up is pretty much the exact same form that we fill out on paper within our chapter meetings. First thing you do is just need to select somebody from the list. So these are all the members of your chapter. So I'm going to select, let's say, John Ford. He's a member in our chapter, and I'm going to thank him for a referral in the amount of $500 that he generated for my business. This was a new referral. It was an outside referral. And I can also put any comments I would like. I can even put the name of the referral if I'd like to, because the comments will always stay private to you and to you alone. So I can even say this was for James Jones that he referred to me. Once I'm satisfied with the information on here, I would just click Save and New or Submit. If I click Save and New, it's going to submit this slip, but then automatically open up a new one. So if you're somebody that likes to have QuickBooks open on one screen and go through and do all of your thank you for closed business at once, you can do that fairly quickly by clicking on the Save and New to pull up a new slip right away. If you've just got this one, you can then click on Submit. It will submit this form and bring you back to the previous screen. If you just hit the close button, it'll throw all this away. It will not submit anything and just bring you back to the previous screen. Now I'm going to click on Save and New so that I can submit another slip right away. Another option that you have for all of these slips, if it is available in your region, is to also be able to thank somebody from another chapter within your region for activity within your chapter. So for example, let's say right now I don't have a printer in my group. It's some position that we've been trying to fill for a long time, but we haven't been able to. So I had to have some printing done, and I had to thank a member in another chapter. I gave a referral to a member in another chapter in our region for that business. I'd like to now thank that person for the business. I can click on Search Chapter. I can put the first name and last name in, and this is going to search across the region for the other member. So I'm just going to put in the first name, which is Peter, and click on Search. What this will do is this will bring me back all the Peters in my region. And I just need to pick the person from this list. So it was Peter Allegrini from our Signs by Designs. I choose him. It says, are you sure this is the person that you'd like? Okay. And now we'll see that I'm going to give a thank you to Peter for an inside referral. And this was for help with Peter's business. And I can click Submit. Oh, I forgot to put in the referral and the dollar amount. So this was for $2,000 and thank you for closed business. I click Submit. And now Peter will get the credit for the referral that turned into closed business for me. The great thing about entering these online, as I said, it automatically will tabulate this and calculate it and put it into the POMS report for our vice presidents. That's one benefit that helps our vice president out, but how does it help you out? The great way that this helps you out is because now it keeps track of them all in the My Reports. So this first one is the My Thank You for Closed Business report, and this is the matching report to entering Thank You for Closed Business. If I click on the My Thank You for Closed Business report, I can choose a date range. You can see that by default it's going to choose the last 6 months, but you can change that to whatever you'd like. If you'd only like to look at the last month, or you'd like to look at a year or 2 months, whatever it is that you'd like, choose the date range and click Go. And this will show you all of the Thank You for Closed Business slips that you've turned in online through BNI Connect. Of course, if you turn in a paper slip at the meeting, it will not show up in this list. But if you submit it online, it will show up on this list. How is that helpful? Well, let's say that 6 months from now, John comes up to me and says, hey, you remember that referral for James Jones that I passed you a long time? Did that ever close? Did you ever thank me for the business on that? I don't think I saw it in my POMS report. You can go back to your Thank You for Closed Business Given report and look it up. I can now see that, oh, John, yes, as a matter of fact, on the 5th of March, I did thank you for $500 for that business. So this helps to keep it neat and organized. You don't have to keep any external spreadsheets. You can track it all through BNI Connect. All right, let's go back up. And the second type of slip that you might want to pass in at a meeting is a referral. So I'm going to click on Enter Referrals. Now, this looks just like the referral slip that we have in our meeting. So we have the temperature gauge, we have the information that we need to fill out. Same deal. We just need to click a member from our chapter. So let's say that I have a referral for Phil Jaber. He's the credit card processor in my chapter. And the referral is for Jesse James. It's an outside referral. I gave Jesse Phil's card, and I also told them that Phil was going to call. I give them the address. And the telephone number for them to call. Also the email address for Jesse James. And any comments about this referral. I'm going to put it on a temperature scale. Now this one is a super hot referral, so I'm going to make it a 5. And again, I can click Save and New to submit another referral right away, or I can just click Submit to submit this single referral. I'm going to click on Save and New. Now, let's say that you have a referral for somebody in another chapter. For example, I'm a computer guy. My company does computer support, but there are some things that I don't do in my company, so I have developed relationships with the computer guys in a lot of other chapters. And let's say that there's another computer guy. His name's Joe Grimes. He's in a chapter a couple of towns away, and I have something that I can't handle in my company that I'd like to pass to him. So how would I do that? I would click on Search Cross Chapter. And I'm going to look up Joe, and I'm going to look him up by his last name. His last name's Grimes, and oh, here he is. And he is in the BNI City Biz chapter. He's in, his company is Excel Tech, and I'm going to click on him because I have a referral for Joe. And you can now see that Joe is showing up in the to line. And I'm going to put the information in about the referral. And it's for Acme Incorporated, and it's an outside referral. I gave the card, give them the address, and the telephone number, and the email address, and any comments. Please call me first so we can collaborate on this job. And then I can put a temperature scale, and this one's probably only a 3. So I'm going to choose a 3 and then click Submit. Now Joe will receive that referral. Now one of the great things that happens when you submit a referral in BNI Connect is that in both of these cases, and let me just take a look at these 2 referrals that I passed by looking at my Referrals report. This is by default going to show us our last 30 days of referrals, but again, you can just choose a different date and go back in time if you'd like to select a larger time frame. And I can see that these 2 referrals I passed. But in addition to that, both Joe and Phil received emails with all of the contact information and all of the details that I put in about those referrals. What does that email look like? Well, here is a referral that I received just a few days ago. I am a member in a chapter here in Rhode Island and been a member for about 12 years now. But I received a referral the other day from a member of my chapter, Shannon, and it put the referral name in and the phone number, the comments that he added. It had the temperature of the referral, and it also gave me all of Shannon's contact information. So if I needed to get in touch with Shannon to follow up, I could either reply directly to this email and Shannon would get that reply, or I could call him. And if I'm reading this on my phone, most phones just have a click to call, so I would just be able to click that phone number and give him a call right away to find out more information or let him know the status of this referral. Okay, the third type of slip that we can enter is a one-to-one slip. So if I click on the one-to-ones, again, I can choose a member from my chapter who initiated the conversation, where did we meet, topics of conversation, and the date that we met. Oops, I shouldn't really meet in the future, March 1st. So the great thing about the one-to-one slips is once I save this, both of us get the credit for the one-to-one. Now, if Dr. Michael Ferry, he tries to put in a one-to-one slip, he will get a warning. So if he puts a one-to-one slip in for that same day, it will say, hey, by the way, your referral partner, your one-to-one partner's already put in a one-to-one slip for that day. Are you really sure you want to put in another one? Now, if he wants to, he can put in another one. There are times when you may put in a second one-to-one with somebody, but normally you would just cancel that and leave the one-to-one slip in. Now, same thing, we have a My One-to-One report. We can, by default, this one's going to choose 6 months, and I can pull this up and take a look at my last 6 months of one-to-ones. Now, where is this really helpful? Well, have you ever sat back in your chapter and said, hey, I wonder why I'm not getting a lot of referrals from this person, or I wonder why I'm having such a hard time giving referrals to this person in my chapter? One of the driving forces behind being able to both give and receive referrals is through the one-to-one process. So have a look at your one-to-one report, and you can strategize who you should be doing one-to-ones with so that you can more easily pass business to and from those people. And finally, we have the CEU report. So if I click on the CEUs, this gives us the opportunity to enter a CEU form. Now, the great thing about this report, besides tracking it later, is that you can also, it does all the math for you. So if I listen to some podcasts this week, that's worth 1 credit. But I also went to leadership team training this week. So that was worth 3 credits. I went once, and it will automatically give me the 3 credits for this, so that when I submit this, the total is done for me. And as with the rest of the reports, or the rest of the activity, there is a corresponding report that goes along with it in the My CEU report. And again, the default on that one is 6 months, and we can take a look at all of the previous slips that we turned in for this. All right, we do have one question. Where do the referrals and thank you for closed business between chapters show up on the palms? And Dawn, I'll get to that in just 1 second for you. All right. Now, one thing that people say is, all right, well, what happens with referrals that I receive in BNI Connect? Well, there's a new thing as of about a month ago called the Referral Tracking Sheet. And if you think back to your Member Success Program, you'll remember that this was part of the Member Success Program training, is the Referral Tracking Sheet, where you can track the status of your referrals. And if I click on my Referral Tracking Sheet here in BNI Connect, I can take a look at all the referrals that I've ever received. I'm going to go back to October and click Go. And here's 3 referrals that I received. And what I can do now is to track the status of those referrals. And the way I do that is I can look at the referral name, and there's an edit button on this referral. And with this referral, I can re-rate it if I need to. I can also look at the status. So when it first comes in, it will be new, but I can change that to pending. I could change it to closed, or I can change it to a no sale. I can also record when I first contacted them. So I know that I got the referral on 1/15. I know my first contact was made on 1/15. I set up an appointment and I met with them on 1/25. And I followed up with that referral after it was closed on 1/28. If I'd like to, I can record here if there was any thank you for closed business and whether or not this resulted in another spinoff. Now, the stuff that you put in here, this is for your own personal information, so it does not affect the POMS report in any way. For example, putting the thank you for closed business when you're just tracking your referrals does not put it into the POMS report. You would have to submit an official slip for that separately. And along with that, we also have, if you'd like to look at the status of all your referrals, there's a referral tracking report. And this is more of a table format, and it just gives you a quick list of all of the referrals and what their statuses are. The one other question that we get is, okay, well, that's all great. I put all these slips online. What do I do at the meeting now? How am I going to be eligible for the door prize? Well, the way we do that is through the personal meeting activity sheet. And this is the final option on the online slips page. In order to, now for most of these slips, you know, the CEUs, the thank you for closed business, the one-to-ones, there's no need to turn in paper because they've already been submitted into the POMS reports for us. However, we do like to win the prize for the door prize and also for the vice presidents for the referral reality check that chapters do on a weekly basis. The way we do that now is through the personal meeting activity sheet. And if I, by default, is going to choose this week's activity for your next meeting. If I click Go, this will organize all of my referrals, thank you for closed business, CEUs, and one-to-ones into one slip. And the great thing is that the referral slips are about the same size as the traditional referral slip that we pass in at the meeting. So you can take a pair of scissors, cut these out, and drop them into the bowl at your weekly meeting. So this part of the meeting, the referrals and testimonial part of the meeting, it has not changed at all. We still want to report out loud on all of the activity that we have. We're still going to talk about the referrals that we had that week. This week I had a referral for Christy Armstrong. I had a referral to Phil Jaber, and I had a referral to Joe Grimes. I also had a thank you for closed business to John Ford for $500, for Peter Allegrini for $2,000. I had 4 CEUs this week. So you still want to be reporting on all of this information. You still want to be turning in the referral slips. Now, let's say that you forget to print out your personal meeting activity sheet, or you don't have a pair of scissors, or you just don't want to print it out ahead of time. That's fine. My suggestion is to take, when you get to your meeting, take a regular referral slip, the kind that you would traditionally pass out in the meeting anyway, and fill it out and turn it in. Here's the catch. You need to make sure that your vice president knows not to count that in the POMS report. The way to do that, take your pen and draw a big X right through the middle of that slip and or write on it, entered online. This way you can still be eligible for the door prize, and you've alerted your vice president. Don't count this one. It's already in the POMS reports. All right, so what does this look like now to the vice presidents? If we have any vice presidents on the line today, the great thing about this whole process is that it does get entered online automatically for you vice presidents. Now, if I go to the POMS report for this week, so actually let me switch back over to my chapter here. And let's say that I go to enter a POMS report. Let's say I'm the vice president, and I click on enter POMS. And I'm going to enter the POMS report for this week. What we'll see is that the POMS has already been partially filled out. So if we look at the totals here at the bottom, we'll see that we have 2 referrals given outside. There was 1 referral received inside because 1 referral was inside my chapter and 1 referral was outside of my chapter. The thank you for closed business was already entered, and the CEUs were already entered. So it's already filled out partially. Now, vice presidents, how do we check this? Well, you'll notice there's a new button up here called the Slips Audit Report. By clicking on that button, you can see in one place all of the meeting activity for that week. So we can see the CEUs, we can see the cross-chapter referral. So the cross-chapter went from myself to Joe Grimes and the City Biz chapter. So that's why there's a referral given for me. And in Joe's chapter, in the City Biz chapter, his POMS report will have a referral received for him. Now the thank you for closed business, you can see that the thank you for closed business is anonymous, as it always has been. So we can't see who passed the thank you for closed business, so we can see who received it and the amount. Notice also that the details of that are hidden. They are completely anonymous. Nobody but the giver has access to that information in the system. So for financial advisors, for accountants, for attorneys, for doctors, again, that information is kept 100% private. Even myself, as a system administrator, I cannot access that information on any other member's account unless they give me their password and I log in as them. And for vice presidents, you also have full control over the palms still. So let's say that I completely messed up. That thank you for closed business, it was really supposed to be for $5,000 for John Ford, not $500. I can always contact you as the vice president, say, hey, I messed that up. Can you please change that to $5,000 for me? And you as the vice president can go in, change that number to 5,000. And then once you submit this PALMS report, that new number will be in its place. When I'm done as a vice president, I'm going to click submit. And only after I've clicked submit will we notice that the numbers on my home screen will reflect those changes. So I'm going to go back home. And on my BNI business, now my numbers will have reflected that. Notice I now have $250,500 worth of thank you for closed business received. Dawn, does that answer your question, by the way? You had a question, where do the referrals and thank you for closed business between chapters show up on the PALMS report? So does that answer that question? All right, and Ellen has a question. She says, will these webinars be on the CEU credits form? Right now, the CEU form, so let me pull up the CEU form here. This exactly mirrors the approved CEU slip and CEU program as per headquarters. So the way that this slip would change is once headquarters has approved that change or has approved amendments to this particular list, then other things may show up on this list. In some regions, and please do talk with your executive director first, but you'll notice that most of these relate to the amount of time that the activity takes. For example, how long does it take to listen to a BNI CD? Approximately an hour. That's why it's 1 credit per course. Podcasts are generally 10 to 12 minutes apiece. 5 podcasts is approximately 1 hour. How long does it take to read a book? Oh, about 5 hours. So what some regions do is, let's say that you took a webinar, you would use one of the 1 credits to give yourself a 1 credit on the CEU form. But again, please check with your executive director, check with your regional office if that's the way that they are tracking things that are not on the list in your particular region. Does that help, Ellen? All right, do we have any other questions? So we're just getting to the bottom of the hour, so I do want to thank everybody for their time today. Again, if you have more questions, please do bring them up. I will gladly stay on this call as long as people have questions, whether it's about the online slips or about anything else in the system. But while we're at the bottom of the hour, I would like to thank everybody that does have to leave. If you found this useful, please do a good referral for me is to please let your chapters know about these webinars. We have webinars on a wide range of subjects. To see the schedule of upcoming webinars, click on the question mark within BNI Connect and you'll be brought to our support site. And at the top of the site, you will see the list of upcoming webinars. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about social media, connections, groups, testimonials, and more. And that is at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then on Thursday, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be talking about building VCP with BNI Connect, which is how to fill out your profile, what all the different places to put information into BNI Connect so that you look good, so that you can build visibility, credibility, and profitability through BNI Connect. Again, this is being recorded. You'll be able to find the recordings on our support site. Again, click on the trainings section, and you'll see the monthly recorded webinars within the training section. You can also go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, and you will see all of the webinars uploaded there as well. If you have a minute, go to facebook.com, please. BNI Connect Global, give us a like there. We do webinar announcements and reminders and tips and tricks up there as well. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So if there are no more questions, again, thank you everybody for your time today. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone. Have a great day.